The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I said the harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I said you're up and I'm up. Y'all now tuned into the Grind Dream Big Show. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I got a special guest in the building. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
What's going on, y'all, man? My name is Ant. I'm from Burtonsville, Maryland, you know, representing the Burtonsville, Montgomery County, you know what I'm saying, the DMV, for real. From your Speaker Truth podcast, I'm running that podcast about coming up 3 years now, honestly, man, 2023 now. But, you know, this is what I'm here to be talking about. You know, I'm here to talk about grinding hard, you know, the bigger you dream. Like, you know, I hit him up. I was like, man, yeah, this is something that I really feel like I can talk about, you know, especially for me being someone that does a lot of interviews and does a lot of conversation, not about, you know, about deeper, like, myself, for real, just being myself. I'm ready for this, you know what I'm saying? I was ready to come in. Small world, I got that going on. That's so small world.
Nah, for real though, like
yeah. So you know, I grew up out there, and you know, I went to middle school. I said Burtonsville school, elementary school called Burtonsville Elementary School. So in the town and everything, and that was kind of like, so where I live, Green Castle. It's like, you know, it's in between, like, you know, it's right next to the neighborhood called 38. So like we call it Castle Boulevard or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of Green Castle kids at least in my side of the neighborhood, will go to Green Castle Elementary School, and the kids on the other side, like, it was just like our road was called Green Castle Road. The other side would be called, well, they would go to Burtonsville.
Okay.
You know,
I'm about to say, I know back then it's like that's where the Chuck E. Cheese was at.
Yeah,
everybody used to go to that
Cheese,
joint, right? Everybody used to go to Chuck E. Cheese over that joint.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's where the Chuck E. Cheese was at. So I live like in a neighborhood like behind that. So Castle Boulevard is like that neighborhood that's right in Chuck E. Cheese for real. And then like you can go on 29, you can go on Roby Road. That's where I'm at for in Green Castle. So, you know, so like I said, you either go to one of those two elementary schools, and you know, the Boulevard, you know, it's known for, you know, its trouble and everything like that, and it kind of spurs into Green Castle just a little bit too, you know, just because the neighborhoods are like right there. So, you know, my mom, she was big on keeping me inside and stuff like that, and which I appreciate, you know what I'm saying. I definitely, you know, understand that now, you know, as I got older, you know, and as I was getting older, I can just kind of seeing, like, you know, people that would come from, you know, the Boulevard and everything like that, and just like, you know, okay, well, you know, these people are, you know, a little different, you know what I'm saying. I gotta, you know what I'm saying, because as I went to Burtonsville, I went to Banneker Middle School, so that's one of the middle schools, you know, so now I'm kind of integrating with those kids anyway now, because, you know, it's just the neighborhoods that surrounding middle schools. You kind of integrate the two elementary schools in the area, and then obviously, you know, you go from there. But so Banneker Middle School, I started to kind of see, like, you know, people from the Boulevard, which was some cool people for me, honestly, too. Like, I met some really good people from out there from at a young age, and like just, you know, obviously they do their thing and I do my thing. I was tapped into sports, basketball. You know, basketball was one of the things that my mom was big on keeping me into doing. Even just basketball. Basketball was something I grabbed, like I getting to love more and everything like that. But you know, it just kept me busy. It kept me away from, you know, whatever, you know, I could have did if I didn't play basketball. You know, so who knows what I could have been basketball. So I was like, shoot, I might as well go there. You know, and I ended up had an opportunity to just be on the team. I was a freshman on varsity, and but I didn't play much. And I didn't play like any for real until, like, you know, a little bit of sophomore year, and you know, start really beginning junior year of high school. So, you know, just that's where I spent my time at. I spent a lot of my time in the gym. Once I realized, like I said, I could become good at basketball, I was just doing other stuff. Even though I had friends, I was hanging out every now and then and stuff like that. Because, you know, I did have some fun. I'm not gonna say
you gotta have
you know
fun.
What I'm saying?
You gotta have fun.
Yeah, like high school is when like I said, when I got to Springbrook, I was learning, like, you know, the balances of having fun. Because like my early years at Springbrook, like that's where, like, you know, those are like the kids that are still kind of coming from outside a lot. You know, they're a lot bigger and everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, there was stuff going on, like shit going on in the school. Like I tell you, like, you know, fights like every day or like every other week or something like that. People getting jumped. It's like, you know, you got the black kids versus the Hispanic kids in school, like, and stuff like that. And this was like constant, like,
the climate was different back then. Yeah. That's probably like early. If I would say like 20.
That's like for me, it's 2014.
Yeah, 2014, probably like 2015 around that time.
2014, 2015. Like it's still it's dicey in school a little bit, man. And it's just basketball. You know, me seeing that, maybe a freshman on varsity, at least, as to say that could probably, you know, I can say that helped me, you know, like kind of being, you know, maneuver a little bit in school, because you know, obviously where I come from, like where I went to school at Springbrook, and that's where things were getting dicey with other two neighborhoods and stuff like that. And coming from where I come from, I was kind of, I didn't know how people would necessarily approach me, even though I was a cool guy. Like I'm not in no drama. I ain't anything. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? In school, doing my class.
I was a good student. I got good grades all throughout. You know, elementary school, middle school, high school too. You know what I'm saying? And that helped me, you know, go into college and play college basketball at Division III level, which was like for me, it was like that's another humbling experience itself. I went to Wilson College up in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, and it was a small town, way different from anything that I've seen in the DMV. Like, you know, especially in Moco, I should say. Honestly, like Montgomery County, where it's like really diverse. Like, you know, you have a lot of people that's, you know, we're black, we have Hispanic, we have white people, we have a lot of Ethiopian, Eritrea, Habesha culture. What else we have? We have a lot of Koreans and all. Like, we have a lot like Jewish people. It's like we have Jewish holidays, like school for Jewish holidays off in Montgomery County, like, and Muslim people. Like, it's a lot of
diversity.
It's a lot of diversity. So we grow up with that, and it's like, you know, like. We don't know that the world, like, at least, no, I won't say we, because I figured out the world is not, you know, it's not always going to be like this. You know what I'm saying? It's not like this. So stepping out, I'm like, you know, there's a culture shock going from, you know, being in a lot of culture, you know, a lot of different cultures being integrated with each other. We're learning about these things and, you know, learning how to be inclusive and all these things like that, just to make sure everybody feels like they're a part of, you know, the society, honestly, you know what I'm saying? Sure. And then from going to something like that, and I really appreciate that about Montgomery County, because, like I said, I learned a lot of things, and I've learned how to be able to teach people to kind of, you know, like, on certain things, like, you might got to chill or talk about that, you know what I'm saying, or you might have just, you know what I'm saying, you got to respect these people, you got to respect what they do, because it's a lot going on, it's a lot behind what these people do and what they believe, or whatever, you know, or whatever it could be in that moment of time. I try to stray away from ignorance, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, definitely staying out the way. Nah, that was a lot. For sure. I loved how you summed it all up, because I feel like every single step of the way it was a different version. You know what I mean? Like, all right, cool. Like, the middle school me is like, all right, bet, this is what it is. Yeah. Then I get to the high school, then I get to college. So, what was, like, your favorite class? Like, did you have, like, something that you was, like, geeked to learn throughout the process? Or it was like, all right, man, look, these classes, but this was something that was like, this is something I look forward to.
I mean, as far as a class, man, I don't know. I was good at math. So, like, I was pretty good at math for a little bit until it got to calculus, and I was like, calculus and like trigonometry, all like when it gets to like all the deeper signs and cosines and all, it's like, oh man, hold on, like, this is a little too much. But what I ended up kind of gravitating toward just a little bit, which I ended up getting better to in college, was English, as far as like writing and stuff like that, because like college writing is different than, you know, high school writing, because like you get an assignment to read, or it could be like a narrative or whatever it is, and it's really more about how you interpret it, how you approach it. So there is no wrong answer when you're writing in college, as long as you can just back up whatever you're saying. So I was like, college writing, it was cool for me. I ended up liking it more because I did that my freshman year, and ended up taking an African American literature class, which I really enjoyed too, because, you know, I was reading about something that actually kind of I could feel like I gravitated to a little bit, and then that was something I was more interested in, more than just like the basic, you know, I don't know, U.S. history, which is like, you know, we're getting a biased version and stuff like that, or, you know, I don't know, science, like, I'm not big with, you know, I'm not huge on science really like that either, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, so school is like, when I was in school, it was more like, yeah, I'm going through it because I know I can do it. It's like, it's as long as you can just do your work, school's easy, and I'm not sure about that right now.
For sure. Nah, I appreciate the transparency, because I think, like, you know, with our youth now, and like, when, you know, like, we watch news or platforms and things like that, I know earlier you was talking about, like, social media, like, I don't even think they have, like, a place to cope. You feel me? Like, it's like, all right, bet, like, this IG, this TikTok over here. Oh, you got Twitter, you old. Right. Know what I mean? Oh, you got Facebook, you old. Know what I mean? So it's like they only using like 2 of the joints, and it's like, all right, bet, I'm gonna just go ahead and dump all this information, and I'm hoping that somebody finds me or somebody can reach out to me. And it's like, through the pandemic, we realized with the iGen generation, because I believe that's what it's called, they're so technology savvy that, all right, but I'm in a room, I'm trying to have a conversation with you. You talking to me like you was just talking to me off of via text or something. Like, hold up, bro. Like, hold up. Like, you gotta chill. So I think that is very, very interesting now in the times that we're in. Because I'm like, I can't even really piggyback, like, okay, if I'm learning, like, I just, you know, like I said, thank you that I got everything before the pandemic. Because, like, that would have been very, very stressful for myself, like, being behind the screen and learning virtually as opposed to being, like, in person. Because now social emotional learning is, like, a whole nother thing.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Because I spent just a little bit of that time. And, like, I was going college. My junior year of college was when COVID hit. So I got to kind of experience. So I kind of understand what these kids going through in a sense, right? Like, they went through, like, being at school, and you just, all right, tap the screen and you're on for the day. You know what I'm saying? So there's really, like, there's no human interaction. I think that's what was missing. You know, obviously with COVID, we had to be away from each other. So, you know, I guess that's what it is. I kind of see what's wrong right now. Like, these kids know how to interact with people like in a good way like that. I mean, like I said, I'm not even just. I said earlier, I honestly am not sure, like, because I see it and I'm just like, how, like, yeah, what is it? Like, I'm trying to figure out what is that generational, like, gap, like you said, with the, like you said, the tech savviness, like, how do they, they're tech savvy, but, like, how they are as people, though. Like, I think that's what I like, that's big of what my platform is about. Like, I like, try to get down to with, like, my people that I talk about, like, who are you as a person? Like, what do you, like, what makes you who you are? And I don't know what makes these kids who they are.
Right. Yeah, so as we, and that's transparent once again, you know what I'm saying? We're just being absolutely transparent with this. So as we pivot and, you evolve, you're learning a lot of things. Of course, you're networking, you're playing basketball. Like you said, the moment that you decided to go all in on your platform, like, what was that like, and what kind of, like, inspired you to make that decision?
So I was going through it with basketball, actually. That's, like, basketball is something that a lot of people know me for, so I love it, you know what I'm saying? I love basketball. But my senior season wasn't going my way, I guess you could say, like, if I'm being transparent as far as we've been talking. It's just, for me, I just was like, man, this is like I wasn't getting the minutes I was getting before as a sophomore, before COVID and everything like that. So, like, it just was a big unknown because I had to coach and everything. So I was just like, man, like, had a lot of down days, and then for me to, like, say go all in, like, I was like, man, it was like, yeah, probably about a year and a half ago, I was like, sure, I'm gonna have to do it. I'm just gonna have to do it for like if it's me driving down to Maryland to get my meet with people that I have the equipment that I need to do it with. Just connect, like I said, with my guy Michael Outlaw. Like he really helped me kind of get that push for real, because he helped me get the spaces that I needed to as far as with the TMP the band, and right now with 4K Crib we've been doing a lot of work in there. So just for me, just being able to, from, like I said, that last year, a year and a half I should say, those moments where I was just like, I would be so down. I was like, nah, man, you know what? I gotta go do something that's positive. That's a podcast. I gotta go do that. Go tap in with people, because this is what I say I want to do. I've always, it was like, man, we have these conversations and stuff like that. But, like, for me to see, and really, like, I was watching, like, all the Smoke podcasts, $1 Million Worth of Game. I watched those a lot. And just seeing how they move with their production and everything like that. Like, for me, like, at that time, I was like, production was okay, we were trying, it was all right, but I was really focused on trying to, like, really pop, like, make people understand, like, I'm here to talk about whatever I want to talk about with people, talk about them speaking their truth, me speaking my truth from time to time, that became, it was, that outlet was also, it became, my platform became an outlet for myself in a way, because it was like, for me to go through these things, I learned how to, with podcasting, where I learned how to articulate what I was going through in a way that it'll help other people understand that you can figure your way out of whatever it is you're going through as well. So that's where, like, I guess you say that push came from, where, like, that year and a half ago I was really going through it, and I'm just like, you know what, nah, if I'm gonna be going through it, I gotta at least figure out a way to articulate it, speak about it. I was doing poetry a little bit too at the time. Like, I was just saying, it's got to get out. And
and I think it's kind of similar as well. Yeah. Like, myself and, like I said, this platform, Grind Hard Dream Big, like, I wrote it in a notebook in 2014. Mm-hmm. So then, like, I bet, like, the pandemic hit and everything like that, like, the world was just, like, on froze. Like, nah, man, you ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, bet. So I'm going through these notebooks and everything like that, and I'm, like, praying on it. And every single notebook, I found myself literally writing this phrase. And I'm like, I gotta do something with this.
Right.
Like, no, there's no coincidence why you keep writing this. Mm-hmm. So it got to that point, and I'm like, all right, cool. So then, July 5th, 2020, was able to, do motivational videos. I was just having a conversation with one of my friends, and then, like, Monday led to Tuesday, Tuesday led to Wednesday, Wednesday led to Thursday, Thursday led to Friday, Friday, Saturday, then Sunday. Every single day, just giving out motivation, and I was just doing it in, like, a repetitive way. Wasn't really focused on, like, likes and all of that stuff. Yeah. Then people started, tapping into what I was doing, and I realized that, like, they were like, bro, like, I'm not understanding this. It's confusion. Like, you used to rap, like, you doing this now, like, go back to rap. And I'm like, nah, this is what I feel like God calling me to do. Right. So I embraced it, and once I embraced it, I realized, like, walking into that truth, you know what I'm saying, and just being who, God has called you to be, and taking those steps, like, you're becoming now. Right. And you're, like, actually doing now. You're not sleeping on yourself no more. Right. So, like, then it led to November 6th, 2020, doing the podcast. And I realized, like you were saying as well, like, not only an outlet for yourself, but now an outlet for other people.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? So now I realize, like, dang, like, nah, it's not about being selfish, it's about being selfless
Yeah.
with what you're doing. So, like, I guess the topics that, you know, you're very, very passionate about, like, when people are tapped into this, like, what are some of the conversations that you have on your platform, or what is it that you want people to take away, you know, when they watch this?
So yeah, for one of the things I definitely try to get people to talk about is like, you know, what they go through, like mentally, emotionally, and, you know, particularly with the guys sometimes too. Like, you know, I just want, like, I feel like for a lot of the men out here, we don't get to talk about our emotions or what we go through mentally because it's weak, or just, you know what I'm saying, we just, you know what it is sometimes, you just gotta keep pushing because, you know, everybody's also going through it, so it's
Right,
like,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying, but, you know, sometimes you do gotta sit down and gotta just talk, you know, let it out, whatever. I guess I'm that person that's helping people, like, helping those people, you know, display that, and helping those people, like, kind of share their selves so that people understand, like, okay, I see he was talking about it on Speak Your Truth, and now they kind of, when they go listen to a song or they go watch what they do, they understand, oh, okay, this is what they did behind it, and stuff like that, or like, dang, this is what they went through to make them do this, and that's just like, I love seeing what people, like, I love seeing people just grow, and that's another thing I talk about too, heavy on the platform, just your growth, like, what do you do to help yourself grow, and for me, it's just like that's something we were talking about outlet for yourself. Like, that's how, like, I kind of share things from time to time by myself, like how I just share my experiences, like you could say in a vlogger kind of sense or whatever, you know what I'm talking about, but just really just getting it out. Like, I think that's bottom line. Just get it out, man, because you know sometimes you got stuff you want to share, and you gotta, it's like, you know, it's valuable, you know what I'm saying, and you know, like, because I've had conversations with people and stuff like that, and like really with my guys in college. When I really started to notice that we would have a lot of deep conversations with each other, man. It was just like, yo, like, yeah, like, that's real stuff, like, that's real shit, you feel me? Like, we would just have those conversations a lot, like, because we growing up together as men, so I guess that's part of where that came from, too. You know, we sharing these experiences in college and, you know, the team and everything like that, so, you know, that's probably where, like, a lot of that stemmed from, you know, just, you know, having those conversations with my guys and just really seeing what we can learn from each other in those conversations, and then I guess me taking that to making it the platform and everything like that, Speak Your Truth, because like I was the more like reserved one in the group. I'm always like the more reserved one in the group. I don't really necessarily talk as much. Like, this is the most I probably ever talk for real, because like just you know, we're on the platform right now, and you know, we gotta explain some things.
Right.
But you know, I'm just like, I'm definitely that guy. Like, if you ask me, like, you know what I'm saying, if you ask me how I feel about something, to the side, or like if it's more like because I don't do yelling, I don't do arguing, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gotta.
We just cool, calm, and collective.
Cool, calm, collective.
So we're gonna be SpongeBob and just soak up a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, soak up a lot of the energy in the room. But I just go ahead and ask me on a more chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's me. I gotta keep things chill.
Yeah, and that's dope though. I appreciate that, because I think that, you know, like you said, you know, like us, right? We chopping it up right now. It's like, nah, we're not watching no basketball. We're not watching no football, like, you know what I mean, and things like that. But I think that's when it's like, you know, cool, because nine times out of 10 when you know, see men interact, they talking about, you know, sports, a club, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, what you about to get into? Yeah. Oh, yeah, what's the latest kicks? You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, you see them J's on your feet, whatever. You know, but now it's like, all right, bet, well, like, how you really feeling? Like, how was your week for real? Like, what were some of those hurdles and obstacles and things that you faced? And I feel like when people start talking about it, it's like, nah, like, what? Nah, that ain't supposed to talk about it. You're not supposed to be doing that. But I think that, nah, it's normal, because we sit on all this capacity, and we don't have the place to release it. We don't have the place to, or that person we may say or perceive to actually vent to. So then you hear, you know, people are like, yo, well, you know, men don't feel supported and things of that nature. And I know that, you know, us both being, you know, Haitian, for one, and then African American, two, you know what I mean? Like, people I mean, look, I want people to understand, too, like, you know, we living in America, but look, man, go ahead and look up Haiti. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, look up Haiti, because, like I said, with Haiti, it's a beautiful place, and at the same time, like, it's a lot that's going on out there in the world right now. So, like, you really, really tap into, like, different places of the world, because I feel like with our voices, you know what I'm saying, and what you're doing as well, bro, like, you're outspoken and you're passionate about what you do, and it may come off as like rebellious or whatever, but like the name itself, Speaking Your Truth, is like really just sharing your story and being unapologetic about it. So I commend you for that, because like I said, we don't really have that many people doing that. We have it like, all right, bet, we watch this, we watch that, and it may be fabricated, censored, or whatever.
Yeah,
but like you want people to be, it's like a judge-free zone.
Yeah, exactly.
When people are just walking up and being a part of what you got going on.
Yeah.
So like, how do you feel about, I guess, what you're learning and unlearning? Like, what are some of the things you're learning in the podcast space or your brand space, and then the things that you felt like, oh, I thought this was what it was supposed to be, but nah, that's not it. So like, what did you kind of learn?
Yeah, I've been learning like this production wise and everything, right? Just trying to upkeep production and really the marketing of it too. Like, I've been doing all that by myself ever since, right? So it's just like from trying to like I keep up with other people and seeing how they do it, and it's just like, all right, I can't spam it every day. I can't if I shoot a podcast on Sunday, I can't get a clip from it on Tuesday and then just post all the clips from, like, take clip by clip by clip and post it like every hour or every day. Is this will be, everybody can pretty much sounds like watch the podcast and I guess you could say and just do Instagram or whatever. Like, and I just was like, no, I can't do that. Like, what I've learned was just like you gotta have a pace as far as like what you do and like a cadence, I guess you could say. Like and that's something I kind of got to work on as well. You know what I'm saying? And you got to post like on a day, like say you shoot or whatever. For me, it's like I shoot Saturday, Sunday, whatever. Right, Sunday, I week turn around for the production and everything to be done, and then what's it called? I drop a clip before. I guess one day I drop a clip before the podcast, and from there I kind of see what the buzz is like, and obviously I'm still going. It helps me determine on what day I actually want to drop it. Like, those are just things that I've kind of learned in like the behind the scenes side, or like just I gotta test what day is gonna work. I can't post on Friday. Everybody gonna be outside on Friday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Saturday kind of the same thing. Everybody kind of busy.
Right. Exactly.
So you gotta figure out what day of that week for is gonna be your best day of the week for you to drop, and that's something that I've learned in the behind the scenes for.
For sure. No, that's dope. I mean, I think that's another thing too. Like, I know I'm big on like Monday, so like every time people see it, like, oh yeah, we drop Monday, because I want you to start your week like having that whole fresh like soul food for your week.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I kind of looked at it. So now it's just like, all right, better if it's to be an interview here, interview there. Like, I still feel like, you could watch it whenever. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, just to get your day going, you know what I'm saying? Something like that, an early morning drop, whatever. You feel me? And just finding your formula, because I feel like everybody's formula different. Like, what may work for them may not work for you. But it's like, at the same time, just understanding your pace, because also I realized, like, you may not, like, you could watch a lot of content and things like that, but never feel like you compare. Because it's like, bro, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, your show may just have a different demographic. Your show may have different people tailored to it. So like, for myself, I know, with my platform, what I realize is, okay, who do you want to watch it? You want, everybody to watch it, or you want, the youngins tapped in? Who do you want to tap in? So my thing is just like, having everything and embracing that. Like, if you're going to be for the youth, you know what I'm saying, just being able to do that. So, like, I've been able to do that, having different people highlight businesses, things that they go through, community organizations and things like that. So, I always show love to that, and I realize, like, it's really taking a toll, because it'd be like, bro, like, you ain't even do this yet, or you ain't even do that yet. But I'm like, yo, just take your time, it's coming. You know what I'm saying? Don't rush nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I guess, what are some of your influences, either in the space or just like people that personally keep you motivated and keep you going?
I watch a lot of content, like you said, just podcasts. I watch a lot of, like I said, The Game. I pretty much try to keep up with their pace and to see who they talk with and talk about. I used to watch I Am Athlete a lot until like they kind of split up. So I've been gravitating towards The Pivot. I like The Pivot a little bit more with those guys, because they really are like, what they do with their guests and everything like that's kind of what I try to do with my thing a little bit. So it's kind of like, but with me, like you said, demographic, I don't know, like, it's like, that's the one thing I'm like, I want to talk with my people. You know what I'm saying? My people could be anybody though, and I guess there's no there's no statistical thing the way like really to track that. You know what I'm saying? I guess and that's obviously the thing I probably got to work on as well for my show and everything like that. But just I see how it just hits certain people, like you feel it. Like I really want people to feel like the episode, like feel what people are talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's wow, like dang, like this person went through something, or dang, they really taught me something. I picked something up from this. So I get that from $1 Million Worth of Game. I get that from Vivid Podcast. I get that from All the Smoke. I get that from it's another guy too. I honestly should shout out. His name is Colin Morris. This was like early when I first started. I was watching him do his thing on Twitter, and I was just like, whoa, like this guy he's talking that shit on Twitter, man. I ain't gonna lie, like, you know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. So shout out to Colin Morris, and I actually DM'd him. He helped me kind of gain a little bit more confidence to kind of start what I wanted to do. He hit me back and everything. That was dope. So shout out to him, man, and really, you know, what he had going on at the time. And I haven't been keeping up as much, but you know, definitely just, you know, anybody that has that, as long as I feel like I can gravitate towards it, and really a lot of stuff in the DMV too. I should really say, like, you know, a lot of people may not be as fond of it, but Ant Glizzy, you know, I've been watching a lot of stuff he's been talking about, seeing what he's been going on, because he talks about the culture and everything like that out here, and you know, it's interesting. I'll say that it's real interesting what he does, and I'm just, you know, I'm a fan of it. I like watching it, so you know, it just really ties in all the culture that people aren't comfortable with.
Right.
But you know, it's like you listen and you paying attention.
Yeah,
so you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you tapped in regardless of what he's gonna say. Like, okay, man, what he post? Yeah, so
you know what I'm saying?
Just drawing attention, especially in the social media space.
Right. Yeah,
I mean, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think all of those are phenomenal. I know for myself, like, you know, nothing without God, nothing without my family, and just like that support. What this platform has allowed me to do, network with, you know, my mentors now, and Miss Kimberly Marshall, the Dare to Be Different, doing a lot of community outreach. That's like my big sister. That is my big sister. And then, you know, Mr. Jeffrey Marshall, who, Jeffrey Young, Jeffrey Young, Mr. Backpack Jeff. Now, I mean, he's allowed me to do so much, as well as just expanding and growing and evolving. Some of the podcasts that you named earlier were definitely dope, but another one I would definitely recommend people check out is Social Proof Podcast. Okay. They talk about like entrepreneur space and like building your business and things like that. And then definitely like with spirituality, More Purpose Pod, like they talk about like just transparency and just like, you know, religion and different things like that, because I feel like we all have to, you know, in order for us to create, we have to tap into the creator, and that's God, or, you know what I'm saying? So like it's just big different gems that people can just drop on people. And I think that you know, understanding your identity and your purpose, I feel like you've definitely clearly defined that with your brand and what you're doing, so I definitely salute that.
Appreciate
but like through all of the mix though, and like everything that you do, like what does self-care look like for you though?
Self-care?
Yeah,
man, gotta wake up, man. Sometimes you just gotta, you know, you gotta like relax sometimes. You know, you like my day. I guess you could say my self-care day would look like me getting up. If I'm from my cut up, I'll get a cut by Trey Day Cuts. Shout out my guy. I get a cut from him, and then, you know, just take a nice shower or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Relax. Play basketball, work out, something like that, man. Those kind of, you know, stay in shape, stay fit. You know, something like that, man. If I'm saying I just like being active. That's like my self-care. I like being active, honestly. And if I'm not active, I like being chill. Like I like watching a movie or something, a show. You know, just being lax. That's my self-care, honestly. Just, you know. And yeah, I guess that's what it is. I'm a really simple person. Like I said, I be inside, man. I don't really do too much. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that's my self-care. Just if I get to have peace, like that's just my overall, like my self-care. Anything that provides me peace is my self-care.
That's dope. Yeah, nah, I think for me, like, I think I need to find a relaxed button. Cause I be like, dog, like, I move way too much.
Yeah.
People be like, bruh, like, just chill out. You just did this. Chill out. Like, what you doing? Like, but I always be feeling like it's always so much more someone could do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bruh, like, but no, you are doing enough.
Right.
Nah, but social media said, nah, you can't be looking there.
You
dig? So I think
trust me,
that's another thing where it's like,
yeah,
you know, you're right. Cause it's like, nah.